Everyone, Lauren Verona here. I'm Live Yogi and I'm here with Rosie.
Hi.
How are you, Rosie?
Good, nice to see you.
Introduce yourself a little bit for us.
Yes.
Do you want to say your business name?
Yes, so I'm Rosie and I'm from Happiness Lifestyle, and you can find me on happinesslifestyle.com.au.
Happiness Lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it sits right in with what our live yogis are doing, because people are coming to yoga because they want to find happiness
Yes.
and change their lifestyle. And we were talking a little bit, weren't we, up in the kitchen when we were making our cups of tea, about this big buzzword that we talk about a lot on the channel about being is having the awareness. So having the awareness when people are not happy, and then wanting to create happiness in their lives. So why do you feel that people? Why do you feel their real main pain points are when they're not happy? What is it they first pick up on or recognise?
Well, I think it shows up in way of the most obvious symptoms, which is our body.
Yeah.
So anytime we're feeling depleted, exhausted, stressed out, burnt out, fatigued, any of those things that show up in the body, that's a sign basically, or feedback in your body that you're being invited to redirect.
I like that. Can we get that again? You're being invited to redirect.
Well, yeah, it's like a universal
nice
invitation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And most of us can kind of hover through life and avoid it. Like we might see it and be like, yeah, I'll just deal with that next week, right? Like just shove it under the carpet. And I feel like when people do come to the practice like yoga, and I'm sure there's other ways that people come to you, but those that are watching right now, they come to the practice and it shows up in their body quite evidently when they're moving, say, into a downward dog, and then they're stepping through, they might meet resistance, they might come to down child's pose and just think, just feeling that funk, and things perhaps aren't quite right. So in order to sort of come on path to find this happiness lifestyle, what are the sort of things that people would come to you for, and what are some things they can start to do?
Okay, so normally when they come to me, it is where all those symptoms show up in what I just said. So a lot of it can manifest as autoimmune conditions, thyroid conditions, hormonal, adrenal fatigue, all of that sort of stuff. Also those that are feeling stuck on a cycle, feeling like they're hiding or they're in comparison, a lot of the negative mind, a lot of those fears that really keep them small. And so when they come, it's sort of like they're in this space of wanting to go to the next level, but they're having all of these things that are holding them back. And so the very first thing we need to address is basically where their current reality is. So seeing the symptoms and seeing what isn't working and what is. And awareness is really the first step to any change, because you can't change what you can't see.
Correct.
And so it really starts with there. So as much as they want to go forward, they need to know where they're at. And then also to creating that new reality of where they want to go. Because
how do we know when we're playing it small? Because if we're so used to playing this way, how do we realise?
So that will appear in fear of judgment, so hiding, so we know that we can do better. So the mind might say not good enough. So it's really paying attention to the self-talk that's going on. So a lot of that is coming from the lack perspective. So literally everything, all mind or all fear is going down that road. So when any of that lack comes up, any of those thought patterns come up, that's just sign to say, okay, what's going on? There's some blockage, we need to really address that. And that's not from today. This stuff is way back from childhood. Yeah. So 95% of the time, we're actually operating on an autopilot or a subconscious level. And so only 5% of the time are we even conscious. And that's scary. The first 7 to 8 years of our life is basically where we're operating on that beta or hypnosis level, and we're observing the patterns and behaviors of our parents or whoever raised us. And we've formed beliefs and patterns from that time. And then after the age of 8, we're downloading that, and we've gathered evidence our whole life as to why those beliefs are true. And so this is what's running our show. And so it will show up as hiding or playing small, and you'll know it just through the fears of what's coming up in the self-talk. And so rather than addressing the symptoms, which many do, we go to the root cause of that, and we need to highlight that, grab what we need, and basically where we discover your story.
And it must be very challenging to get to that root and to discover the story.
Yeah.
Is that just really through a series of questions, and that's the coaching?
Absolutely.
And that's the sessions that you need to just keep delving in and going in deeper and going in deeper. So what might start off as I'm tired, might come all the way, get stripped back to actually I'm not feeling loved, and we've made all these excuses and we're putting on weight and whatnot.
Yeah.
So really stripping all of that back.
Yeah.
And then once we sort of then delve in, find out what our thing is, do you stay then on with your clients as you sort of start to help them shift into that happiness lifestyle?
Yes, so absolutely. So it's exactly what you said. It's really peeling back the layers of everything that you aren't and discovering the core of who you really are. And that really comes from the core emotional or the fear. It's not hard. It's just asking the right questions to take you on that journey. And it's not about staying in the past. It's taking what is been driving you all this time. So the child that's been pulling your strings, grabbing that, using that as medicine. The key here is we don't need to heal the child. You're not broken. It's only your perspective. And so we take that and we become inner alchemists, and we turn that into gold. And we use that story to drive you forward in a really beautiful way.
Let's touch on a little that inner alchemist and the gold. Do you mind?
Yes.
That will be quite foreign to some people.
Absolutely, yeah. So as I said, so the story, that once we discover the story, so the story basically comes down to one sentence. So once you realize this sentence, this is essentially, as much as you're in the limitation of it, so far everybody is in the limitation of their story. It's their child that's pulling their strings, they just don't know it. And so how they show up in the world, how that's being projected outwardly, is all coming from that limiting perspective. And so many people see the story as the handicap, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's not seeing that as a handicap. It's seeing that there's a gift in the story, and that this is essentially the gift you gave yourself to fulfill your highest contract here on earth. And once we take that, we use the gifts and the abilities that the story has given you, leaving the limitation of the story and using those gifts to move you forward in your life, in the next level of your business and your health and your success.
And where does the gold come into it?
Well, that's the gold. So it's
That's
finding the gold. Yeah. So
the gold.
what the story was, what we see as lead or as coal, we turn into gold.
And
Yes.
isn't there a story in the Japanese? I don't know if you know it, the ancient tradition of how they fix these plates with the gold.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, a little bit. So it's similar to that.
Yeah.
So it's really that. So you know about the Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
You know about that. Yeah. So it's really about seeing that, and then you don't need healing. Because everybody, and you hear many people go, oh, heal your wounded child, or clear your limiting beliefs and your blocks for good. And we don't need to. All of this, if we suspend judgment and we listen to what the blocks are there to teach us, they have so much wisdom and insights. We just need to suspend that judgment and listen to what it has for us. So I'll give you an example. It will help ground it.
Please do.
Yeah. So I had a client, and she wanted to move to the next level of her success, and there was something that kept holding her back to get to that. When we slowed everything down, we realized that she was afraid that if she was going to go to the next level of her success, that she would not, or she would lose her relationship, and she would not have a loving relationship. And it's like, okay, so where is this coming from? And we questioned that. We went back into her past, and when she was young, really young, she witnessed her mum getting a promotion. And at the same time her mum got a promotion was the time she got a divorce. And so she took on the belief that in order for her to be successful, it meant that her relationship would be by the wayside. So we need to really highlight these things. And when we saw that was operating within her, we were able to move her through, hang on a minute, and really question that belief system and say, is that even true? No. So really knowing that, yeah.
And how can we really shape that? So one, we become aware, so we've got the gold and we've got the awareness.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is like a very open-ended question. How do we, because it's in our bodies, it's all we know, it's all we do. Sometimes we're not even consciously aware, but our bodies are aware. How can we really start to change that?
Yeah, so the first step is knowing the story. And so once you identify your current reality, we create that alternative pathway to the more loving reality. You can't obviously change it unless we know the new reality, because your body doesn't know the difference between real and fantasy. So we need to create that first. And then once we've got that and we know the story, we're able to rewire and create new neural pathways. And what's the new way? So we know this story is the old way. And then it's scripting. It's really creating the new story of your life, but not actually getting rid of the story. It's using that story and the gifts that you gave or that is given you to create that new story moving forward. And so we use that, and we reminders trigger better behaviors. So we really rewire or reprogram the new neural pathways. So every time,
and things like that.
yeah, so there's tools we can use like meditation, there's yoga. I mean, there's many things that we can do toward that, but really just strategies. So if you want to bridge the gap between your current reality and mindfulness, so to speak, or your new reality, you need strategies to get there. And strategies is where we rewire that neural pathway. So it's telling your brain this is possible. And we're just cementing that. So the things that we do, the step by step, and it will look different for everyone. So what might work for you may not work for another. And also having the mindfulness in it. So mindfulness in this respect is remembering that you have a choice. Remembering that there is a loving option, right? And so reminders might be, I don't know, touching your necklace to bring you back to the present moment. Remembering, right? You might have a rock that you might use as a reminder. So all these things that will help you remember your loving choice or your loving alternative, that there is that.
Anchoring, I love that.
Exactly.
Even just a breath, we could do that.
Yes, so breath, so through anchoring. So in our NLP we use intention setting. So you might want words like courage, if that's what you want to embody, or presence, or peace, or leadership, or any of those things, and then really anchoring into those words and really embodying and really remembering a time when you were those things and stepping into that. And you can have doorways as a really beautiful reminder. So anytime I will move through a doorway, I'll have that as a symbol to say, okay, I'm leaving myself or my story at the door. Who do I choose to be now? What intention am I going to bring when I walk through that door to my family?
And again, it's just conscious awareness, isn't it?
Yes, it all comes down to that.
I like the doorway. And working out, I guess you could be working out whether they're visual or audio or whatever sort of learners and receivers they are. Yeah. To really find that. What is it? It's turn the ordinary to the extraordinary?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that journey.
Yeah.
So a little bit about your story, because I guess you did exactly that. To find your extraordinary, you were managing 700 people and doing burnout.
Yes.
Oh, it comes that big buzzword again. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I was working at the top of my field, and I was in the corporate world, and I had 700 people working for me. And I properly burnt the candles at both ends. Yep. And so much of that unconsciously, not that I was aware, but everything I did was really seeking the validation, the approval. It didn't matter about me as long as everybody else was happy. And so my life hit a crisis point. I got hit with a whole host of health issues. I got diagnosed with not one but two incurable diseases, autoimmune and also Meniere's disease, and with it debilitating anxiety, depression, chronic fatigue, you name it. And I went through months of grueling tests, MRI, CT scans, ENT specialists, all of that, and they couldn't help me. They didn't know what was wrong. And so my body kept crashing on me, and my ability to even think clearly started diminishing. And there were days I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So months later, when I got the actual diagnosis that I had my two diseases, the doctor said, there's nothing we can do. We want to operate on you, take out your thyroid, give you radioactive iodine, and put you on synthetic hormones for the rest of your life. And it was in that moment that I knew that it wasn't okay. And I said, no, thank you. I'm good. I'm leaving with what I came here today. And I walked out of that office, and that was when I decided to become the CEO of my own life.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is.
so it's been a big journey. I went on a huge journey. I questioned everything I was doing. I questioned my lifestyle, what I was eating, what I was drinking, how I was thinking, how I was being, breathing, all of it. And I changed everything I was doing. And an interesting thing started to happen. I started getting better, and I got more energy. I lost weight, which is a really cool bonus side effect. And yeah, I did a complete 180 on sick and opened myself to an amazing, beautiful life. And I went back to the doctor's office, and he had to test me twice because he could not believe. Yeah, really, he thought there was something wrong with the result. And he said, "No, I'm going to send you back." And I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing worked. There's nothing. You're clear. You're so healthy. And yeah, it's been 11 years since many years and the diagnosis.
And you can share that story, which is so profound. And it's amazing how we have to, as healers and light workers, that we have to experience such hardship and challenges within our own bodies and our own lives so that we can come out the other end of it to really share the story, but then to enable us to help others.
Yeah, absolutely. And really that was a blessing for me. And I saw that as a big teacher, I would say. It really taught me to live, and it was a redirect. That's why I love using that. It was really a big invitation for me to redirect my life and in the work that I was meant to be doing.
So how did the invitation come to go and do this 1,000-kilometre walk across Spain?
So I've always wanted to do that. I read The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, but years ago, and I read The Pilgrimage. He also did that, but I didn't think that was possible. I thought it was just a fable and some fiction book. This was just really probably 13 or 14 years ago. The Camino wasn't even kind of out there, or no one even really knew about it. And I met my mentor several years ago, and I was getting a Bowen treatment, and he was telling me how he walked the Camino, and I just went, "What? Say what? So you did the Camino?" And it just fired within me, like, oh my God.
Things drop in.
Yes.
And because she has the awareness, she was listening.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it was my heart. So my heart's been calling me for the last, 12 years to do it. And at that point, in 2016, that was the year of mercy. So it was supposed to be like a year of blessing to do the Camino. And I thought, okay, if not now, when? I'm going to do it. And I just followed my heart. And I went alone. I undertook it. I took nothing but a backpack, pair of boots, and my walking sticks. And I went on a really beautiful pilgrimage that took me back to my heart, my soul, and just really aligned me to the purpose that I'm here to do.
What a tremendous opportunity that you could actually go and do such a thing on your own, to take that sort of time out. And I'm sure there would have been a lot of insights along the way.
Yes.
And it would have been very meditative in itself.
Yeah.
Doing anything when you're at one with nature and present, and being able to observe the thoughts. Remember, that's all meditation is. It's not stopping the thoughts.
Yeah.
It's observing. So what better way than to observe for 33 days or whatever?
Oh, yeah. It forces you into that. It's like, we can almost say forced stillness. So if you want peace, you'll get forced peace. But it really was that. It stripped away everything and took me to the core of who I really am. And it was really a journey of the mind, the body, and the soul in every single level. So the way I can break it down was basically week one was all about the physical pain.
Yeah, right.
You know, your body's adjusting. You're walking like 30 kilometers, 32 kilometers a day in the heat of Spain, you know, and then week two, your body's adjusting, your mind is now starting. And so the ego's coming out, and there's nothing there but you, and you are forced to face everything. And so I was facing everything that I thought I had faced, and just stripping away everything to get back to the core of the real me. By the time you get to Santiago, you're free. And I've got to tell you, the freedom happened before I reached Santiago. So I actually had a shower. It was a communal shower. Everyone was like, you've got like 20 people all showering together. It was very much like this, you know. And I remember looking in the mirror, and I looked in my eyes, and that was the very first time that I saw myself as God or the universe saw me. And that was where I really saw my worth, and I had a really deep sense of awakening and really beautiful. So when I got to Santiago, physically, I should not have finished. So I should have been on that bus home. My legs, I had stress fractures, I had Achilles tendonitis, I had all sorts of things. I could not even, like, people were like, you're crazy. And I was known as the crazy Australian on the Camino because I was just like, nope, I'm going to do it. My mind got me there. My body just crashed on me. I experienced freedom. So even with all that physical pain and trauma, I just transcended that. It's like you get to this stage where it's like you don't feel any of that. I felt so free. And by the time I got to Santiago, it was really a feeling of having arrived, not physically, but in a very spiritual sense. Yeah.
And how do you hold on to that now with your life? 'Cause obviously, you're not just taking yourself over to Spain each year.
Yeah.
So do you have certain rituals or things that you do to anchor that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yes, so this is where mindfulness comes in. So I have my Camino shell, and I have that actually hanging over my bedroom.
Shell?
Yeah, so so when you walk the Camino, pilgrims get a shell, a scallop, and you put that on your backpack. And anywhere you go and stay, no matter...
Everyone knows it, yeah.
Yes, everyone knows you're a pilgrim, and they have to let you in. So it's really beautiful. Yeah. So I have this shell, and it's hanging up above my bedroom window. And I've also, along the way, I finished my journey at Finisterre, which is what we call the end of the world. And there I undertook a ritual and ceremony around my arrival and that. So there were words that were said, and also I connected to my deeper truth and my purpose. And I have that. And so every day I really take a moment to connect to that, because my intention every day is to live my life in peace and from that place of inner stillness, so that I am able to serve others from that place. And so this towel is part of one of the symbols that I always wear. So anytime I need to connect to that, or anytime I'm out of my presence or out of my peace, this will help me connect. The shell is there. I've also got the deeper why, or the deeper purpose. And that really helps me connect to that feeling that the Camino gave. So I've got my little things that really ground that for me.
Beautiful. So you've come back from this, and you're coaching now, which is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Not to mention running retreats nationally and globally. At what point did you realise that you need to share it through coaching? Because obviously, like, this is all happening in this spirit world.
Yeah.
To come in and then to help others. Where was that bridging gap?
Yeah, okay. So I was already coaching and mentoring before I did the Camino.
Okay.
So I think part of the reason why I walked the Camino was so that I would better be able to serve those, especially while I was up-leveling in my business and my life. And so where that came in was when I got sick. So when I went on my own journey, I actually have a background in well-being already. So years ago, I had studied natural therapies and massage, and I worked at a retreat. So I just kind of went off the way, so to speak. And so when I got sick and I went on this journey, I really studied under the world's most renowned and holistic practitioners and life mentors. And I invested hours and thousands on myself to do this. And there was a fire that came in my belly, and I went from why me to how can I use this to serve. And so it went from my own healing journey to I need to give other people this. And so that was where my coaching started coming in. And then obviously from the Camino, I was able to really fully step into my own personal pillars of transformation, which is now Rise and Thrive, and what I've created there. And yeah, so it's been that kind of journey.
And then I would imagine that you would just be attracting like next level clients.
Yes.
From what you had before.
Absolutely.
They see that you have done that work.
Yes,
energetically, even that they're seeing it and they're attracted to you, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I guess you can call what I do in a leadership coach or in a leadership mentor, where we're really aligning all parts of you back to you. And the more we do that, the more you're able to move forward toward what you want and what you want to create in your life.
And do you have online forums or like ways that people can come and learn more about it?
Yes, absolutely. So my website, which is www.happinesslifestyle.com.au. I'm also found on Instagram. My handle is HL with Rosie, so I share all my kind of private stuff there. And
It's all
Facebook.
the same, isn't it?
Oh, I know. It is, isn't it? And my Facebook page. So Facebook is Happiness Lifestyle with Rosie. So
Happiness Lifestyle with Rosie.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do online like Skype coaching as well? For people?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm an international coach. I actually have people in Europe, and
Really?
yes, I've got clients in Holland and Brussels and Spain. Yeah. Yeah, so most of my sessions are done online, and then I have my very beautiful local community that come to see me at my place in Palmwoods on the Sunshine Coast. Yeah.
Wow. Is there anything else you wanted to impart and share with anybody before we sign off? So remember, most of our clients are fairly new to the practice, but they've come on path because they're wanting to really wake up and connect with their why and their purpose, and they're often very time poor. They've only got maybe time for 10 or 20 minutes yoga. Hopefully they stay through to the end of the interview, otherwise we'll be directing them to listen to the last bit. Any tips for sort of taking that next step to discovering their why?
So I would say that the first thing you need to know is what you want. What do you want to create? And then why? Why do you want what you want? And so one of the questions I would ask, or just take a moment to sit down and write, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? Another way to answer would be, if you knew you were supported, no matter what,
I love that one.
what would that look like? And so knowing that, and then why? Because it doesn't matter the form that it comes in. If you're not connected to that deeper why, that deeper truth of who you are, right, and why you're doing what you're doing, it doesn't matter what you do. So for me, as an example, I think getting clear on your purpose is a big one. What I mean by that is it's not what you do, it's who you are. So for me, it's that I'm here to serve from the highest expression of my truth. That's my deeper why. And so all I need to do is connect to that. And it doesn't matter how it shows up for me, whether it's doing my workshops or my retreats or my coaching or my mentoring, right? I'm connected to that deeper truth and my purpose, then everything else will fall into place. And so really getting clear about that. And that's really just a process of asking what you love, what lights you up, what sparks that light within you, and how do you want to feel? Because how you want to feel is really the foundation of everything.
You know, Danny, I love what stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you can have all these goals, everything like this,
yeah.
but that's not anything. It's really giving you what you really want, that deeper feeling that you're looking for. Yeah. So.
And I think that's that very last thing that you said is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And know that we are all looking, we are all searching. That is like innate within us. Last little question, we talked about creativity, maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but it's come through. What's your response to people when they say that they're just not creative?
Oh, that's BS. Can I
BS. Put it out, BS.
We are innately creative. I mean, that's who we are. That's in our inherent worth is that. So, and I think that if you don't feel creative, it just means that you're away from your truth. It's just coming back into alignment with that. And I love how you said it's here, not there.
Yeah.
I love that because happiness is here. We don't need to keep searching outside of ourselves.
That's an inside job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's just letting ourselves crack fully open and be grateful. We haven't really touched on that, but it's a really big one, isn't it? It's that attitude of gratitude every day for the small things, the little things. Some people think, you know, I don't have the new car yet in the house. I can't be grateful. What am I grateful for? It's like skin, limbs, clothing, couch, yoga mat, device, technology.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So
because we're so focused on what's not working or what we don't have, and it's like what you focus on expands. So it's really shifting that, and you'll align the more gratitude you bring in. I know it's cliche, this whole gratitude thing.
It sounds so wanky woo-woo.
Yeah,
but that word is on the spot.
Yeah, but it's it's profound and deep, and it will really align you to manifest what you want. It will bring more abundance in. And gratitude isn't just like, oh, I'm thank you for this and this. It's being thankful, but also bringing presence to what you're grateful for, right? And then acknowledging it through service or through seeing it in attitude, in action.
It's kind of like what we talked about with our very innermost thoughts and our limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
We tap into them when we start to do the attitude of gratitude, because we realize what we are actually truly grateful for. And when we keep anchoring that and reminding ourselves of that, naturally we're going to see other things that are funky and think, well, that's not really serving me, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, and the more we acknowledge and the more we bring in that gratitude, you're creating positive reinforcement for those neural pathways. That's what it is. And so we need that. Keep acknowledging, keep like, okay, we're doing the right thing.
Because remember, at the end of the day, we choose our state. When we wake up, we make a conscious choice, and we make that all day. So if you wanted to do this re-anchoring, reconnecting, connect with your truth, your essence, your divine light, and having that awareness, we have it when we have that moment of deep sense of gratitude. Yeah,
absolutely. I love that. Checking in, and we do have a choice. It is a moment-to-moment choice.
How do I want to be in this situation? What does this teach me right now?
Yeah.
We could talk forever.
Yeah.
But they won't watch that long. Okay, more from Rosie. Happiness lifestyle.com.au. That's an Australian website. Check it out. But even if you're global, she teaches. She coaches through Skype or something, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love Skype. If you have any questions, you do want to get in contact, of course, you can comment below. You can put a heart on this video, and you can get in touch with us through the Facebook community group as well. It is an honour to have you on the channel. We've been so excited. This has been a long time coming. I'm trying to put my tea down so I can say namaste.
Thank you.
Let's bring our hands to our hearts with deep gratitude for your presence,
Thanks, Emma.
for your experience and for your journey from 700 staff to taking this amazing physical trek, and obviously insightful finding of your freedom and your truth. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world.
Honoured, really honoured. Thank you for having me.
Namaste.
Okay.